And here is Mer-Man. So this guy's got some pretty wicked looking armor. You can see he's got spikes going up and on the top here, going around. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Flashback Toys and Collectibles, and today I'll be opening up Mer-Man from the Masters of the Universe Origins toy line. So this came out in 2021, and this is the Lords of Power edition of Mer-Man. And what this actually is a prototype version of Mer-Man that never got released from the 1980s. So on the back of the card backs for the early Masters of the Universe figures, they would advertise a lot of the upcoming figures. And often you would see an advertisement for a Mer-Man figure that looked just like this. But the Mer-Man that we ended up with in the 1980s looked like this. You can see that he has a different style of head and a different style of armor. So it's really cool to see a version of this Mer-Man finally getting released that looks just like the figure that was featured on the early Masters of the Universe card backs. So before we open this up, let's take a quick look at the packaging. This came out in 2021. Mer-Man Ocean Warlord. Let's take a look at the back. At the top here, we have a battle between Mer-Man and Teela. And then it shows some of the other figures that are available. Now let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm just going to cut the bubble off the card back so I can save just the card back. Now this bubble should be loose. Got a little comic inside here. I got a card back that I can store with the rest of my collection here. A couple straps holding them in place. So here's what comes inside the package. We got a mini comic, a sword, and Mer-Man. Let's take a quick look at the mini comic. Sucker Punch. We got Fisto and He-Man on the cover. And inside here we have a big battle with Fisto, He-Man, Skeletor, Mer-Man, Evil Lyn, and Faker. Here is the sword. So you can see it's kind of got a weird texture to it. It kind of reminds me of corn. Kind of weird. And here is Mer-Man. So this guy's got some pretty wicked looking armor. You can see he's got spikes going up and on the top here, going around. Then down at the bottom here, it's got kind of what looks like tentacles hanging down. And then these same looking tentacles are on his boots right here. And then one of the huge differences with this version of Mer-Man is the shape of his head. So this is what Mer-Man looked like in the 1980s. The ears come to more of a point on this guy. And then on this guy, his ears are kind of shaped like fingers. Also, the armor is quite a bit different as well. You can see that this has spikes shooting out everywhere. That looks really cool. And on this guy, the armor is a lot more tame. Another big difference is on the new figure. He's got some yellow hands and some yellow armor at the wrists. On the original figure, the whole arm is green. And I believe this is the same arm that would be used on Skeletor, at least the same mold anyway. Now let's take a look at the boots. On the original figure, you can see that he just has the same color skin for the boot area. And on the new figure, he has yellow boots with a lot of detail. Now let's check out the articulation with this figure. So the head can swivel around and up and down. The shoulder can pivot out and around. The elbow can pivot. The hand can turn around and in and out. You can also pivot it at the waist. The upper leg can pivot around. The knee, the boot, and the ankle. So because this figure has so much articulation, it can stand in all kinds of different poses. I'll try a different pose here. So you can make these figures stand up in all kinds of different poses of your choice. Now, one feature the old figure has that the new ones do not is the power punch feature, where they can spring at the waist here. So if I push him back and let go, he springs back with a power punch. And that feature is not present on these new figures. You can turn him at the waist, but there is no spring action. Let's check out the sword. So this is meant to go in the right hand. And that's a pretty tight fit. But once it's on there, I guess it's not going nowhere. So the sword can only go in the right hand because the left hand is in the open position. And a common problem I keep running into with a lot of these Origins figures is the hands, at least the open hands anyway, a lot of times are deformed. So you can see here the fingers are all smashed and kind of go in one direction. And you can kind of bend these back and mold them back to the shape they're supposed to be, but it is a little bit annoying. So here's my final thoughts with this Mer-Man figure. It's really cool to see this prototype version of Mer-Man finally getting a release. I really like the armor and all the spikes on this, and all the colors on this guy really look nice as well. All these colors really pop when mixed together. Okay, it's now time for me to go. If you liked this video, if you could hit that like button, and please subscribe. And have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.